Hello. I think it's episode 21. It could be 22. I was laughing looking back at my folders for each one going, But anyway, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this. Today we're talking about a bit of imagination, maybe the dreaming, a little bit of vision, but something that as children, we lived in that space. It was effortless. We came from that mind. And then as we got a little older, it kind of disappeared or something became more important. Not quite sure, but we're going to talk about that today. I'm Charlie Collins, with co-founder, co-host of the Blindsided podcast. I'm a speaker coach. I'm also the co-founder of Thriving Blind Academy, where we work with people who are blind and vision impaired, helping them create a vision of clarity.
Good morning, Charlie. You're also a coach on Time for a 10.
Yes.
And he does great work. Hi, everyone. My name is Brenda Hayden. I'm the founder of timefor10.com. We are an emotional intelligence, emotional awareness, disturbance inventoriers. We do coaching. We help people identify what their conditioned thinking is, and then we show them ways to change that so they can live a more fulfilled life. They can let go of belief systems that don't work for them. They can work through disturbances. We shine light so they can get a new perspective on their lives and the way they're taking in information and responding to it. We just have a great time. We also have a free Zoom every Monday night at 7:00. You can find that flyer at our YouTube channel at Time for a 10. Great to be here this morning.
I like that flyer. Ooh. So basically,
it's actually a video flyer. Under more. Shorts.
Nice. Got it. Well, that's fantastic. So, today we want to, I was thinking I have neighbors that have young children and just playing, and they come and visit and watching them, and hey, you want to do like touch this thing, roll down the hill, just this quick grabbing or this quick imagination of a game. It's nothing that's been created, but it seems fun. And it's like, wow. And watching them, seeing them be in that place of they're not worried about if they roll the right way or if they touch the thing at the right angle or what somebody in that vicinity might be thinking of them. They're thinking about the imagination they just had, and they want to share it with you, and they want you to be a part of it. And I usually like to join in on that.
Me too, Charlie. When I see children playing, it just, the feeling that I get from watching them, because they are so in their authentic selves. And you're right, they're not thinking about what anyone else is thinking of them. They're playing. They're not worried about what you're going to think of their idea. I remember being that way as a little kid and just completely being in the present moment and enjoying the person who was next to me, playing with them, having a good time, creating magic. It was magic. That's how I think about it. Those were magical times. So what happens, Charlie? What happens to us that we lose that?
Well, we start coming to this place of somebody might say something, and we're now attentive to that. You're doing it wrong. That wasn't right. No, stop doing, be careful. That's what we hear a lot from adults. I still hear that. And not in my own mind, but we get conditioned that taking chances or doing something outside the ordinary or the known is wrong, or we could get hurt, or we could get embarrassed. And we start believing that story a bit. And this could be 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. I notice my neighbors have older kids, and I hadn't seen them in a while, and they've changed. Their hairstyle is different. Their clothes are different. They don't talk kind of as freely as they did. And I went, uh-oh, they're moving into the new, what do you think about me world? And I need to perform well so people will like me. I need to be validated. I don't want to step outside this box that the people I am around are living in, because they might have some sort of judgment or unkind thing to say to me, and I won't be able to deal with that.
So true. That's so true. If you think about it, I think it's Bruce Lipton says that your mind, the child's brain is programmed from the age of 0 to 7. And if you actually think back, if I think back, from 0 to 7, those were the days that we're playing and we're outside and we're using our imagination. When I was young, because times were different, I'm giving my age away now. My mother used to open the door, and we'd be out on weekends, we'd be out the door at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. We'd come in for lunch. We'd be back outside after lunch, and we wouldn't come home till dinner time. And all we did was play, go in the woods, pretend to be this, pretend to be that. We would build forts. We would do all kinds of stuff. We would dig up stuff and find things. And then, and you said it so perfectly. So what happens is conditioned thinking starts to creep in. We're told, oh, that's not right. Oh, people don't do that. Oh, that's a dumb idea. Or what are you thinking? The criticism, all of that starts to come in. And it just squashes that magic that's inside of us that just wants to come out and shine. And the conditioned thinking starts to take over. And you're right. We start to take on a role because it's more important for me in my environment. I should keep it in the me. In my environment, I wanted to stay safe. I wanted to stay accepted. I wanted to be part of. So I did what I was being taught to do to fit, like you said, into that box. And hence begins the conditioned thinking and a belief system that, oh my goodness, it takes years to unlearn that belief system as an adult. So I'm really glad we're talking about this today. Maybe we can save some people like years of unlearning.
I know it does take. It takes what it takes. It's not good or bad. It's this bottom in a way. It's this, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Is that true that I don't have the ability to, or can I learn something? And it got to there for me one day, but gosh, it's like, I remember and let me tell you, I came from the same family. I mean, why would you be in the house? Ew, my parents were in there.
Exactly.
I mean, and we were playing and building forts and doing all the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, my mom had a bell. She would ding, 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 ding. And then you could hear, or we had a PA system out. My dad put speakers, dinner time. And it was like, Yahoo. and the dogs didn't have electric collars.
Right.
And we didn't have electric collars. We weren't told not to do. We were told to go and play.
Yeah.
And, and then and that lasted for many years, probably a lot longer than it does for kids now, because the advent of social comparing, social judgment, that life is better. Somebody else has it better than me, and I'm going to keep flicking, and then I'm going to wonder why mine isn't any good. And that isn't the truth. And then we start to retreat a little. Maybe we don't dress the way we really want to. We start covering, or we start worrying about our skin and our hairstyle. And I always found it interesting that there were some kids that were free-spirited. And I remember, and we teased them. And the teasing came from a place of, that's not fair that you're okay being who you really are.
Right.
I'm going to tease you. And it's like, wow. I mean, I didn't know that back then. It's like those people were free. And we, the group of us that were starting to live in the known, in the safe zone, because our brains started to feel when we got teased or judged or harassed, or maybe an adult, an older cousin or somebody said, that's stupid, don't do stuff like that, or do this. And then we kind of started finding our safe zone, which is really our comfort zone, which is really what takes us out of dreaming, imagination, and clear vision.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Charlie. When was the last time that you played?
I play almost daily with my dog, like run around chasing him and teasing him, and then he teases me, and we lay on the ground. So I do a lot of playing with the dog.
That's great.
Almost daily, I play still.
That's great. I was thinking about this, and because this was the topic today, and I was thinking about when was the last time I played, and honestly, Charlie, I couldn't remember. Like just played. Whether I remember when my kids were growing up, I would play with them all the time. On many occasions, we'd be sitting at the table having dinner, and especially if we had mashed potatoes, and I would pick up some mashed potatoes and throw it at them. We would have a food fight, and I wanted them to experience what it felt like not to obey the rules, because that was something that went on in my house. And it's not like we did it all the time, but when we did it, we had a really good time, like spontaneous, just playing. And not just, it's great that you play with your dog. I don't have a dog, but playing with other people. My daughter came down the stairs to give me a hug goodnight during the week, right? And she came barreling down the stairs, and she does that every now and again, and I just love it. And then instead of giving me a hug, she whips out a Nerf gun and she shoots me with it, right? It was hilarious. So I hope she can't hear me. I'm going to go out and get my own Nerf guns today so that I can spring that on her. And that's part of what kind of triggered, like, when was the last time I was just goofy and played and had a good time? And I really couldn't remember. She just came out of her room. She heard me. Darn it.
You dirty birdie.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. So I play with her.
Yeah, and I'm definitely the type that does that quite a bit.
Yeah.
No matter, I like it. It's fun, and it's life is like can get grinding and tough, and it's challenging. And if I stay in that, I become like an adult, or somebody who just looks miserable, crotchety. You got Mr. Crabtree and Mr. Crabtree and Mrs. Cranky Pants, that the neighbors that just are, stay off my lawn, don't have fun. Heck, I would take the kids out for doorbell night up until they almost moved out.
Good for you. That's awesome.
And we would dress in black, and then we'd play ditch it. If a car came, we'd roll down the hill. We weren't doing anything. We weren't tossing anything. We were just playing. And these are all the things I did growing up. So, but how do you engage this? So what happened over time? I had some failures. I got in trouble. And, I don't mean like I was in jail, but I did wrong things. I beat on myself. You shouldn't have. You did. And it scared me. Like, I got to retreat from seeing something better than what I have now. So I got kind of stuck in doing this model of living where I did get up in the morning and kind of take a breath and slow down and see what's possible and begin with the end in mind and do these things, because I didn't know, Brenda. I didn't know that was anything you do.
Yeah.
I just got up. I was like a rudderless ship, threw on my fire suit, went into the business, and then was present and did pretty good at that. But it's not sustaining. And you kind of go, this isn't working, then go this way, that way. And it it burned me out.
Yeah. So let's talk about something else here, Charlie. Very synchronistically, before you even sent me the topic that you chose for today's podcast, a friend of mine had sent me a Wayne Dyer YouTube video, and he happened to be talking about, on that video, imagination. And what he was saying on the video is that is the most important thing, is to go in and imagine yourself. Use your imagination. Imagine yourself doing that which you're dreaming of having, like being in that scene, already having it. And he quoted Einstein, and I didn't know this about Einstein. So Einstein, one of his most famous quotes, so Wayne Dyer says in this video, I haven't looked it up yet. I haven't done a fact checker on it, but I trust Wayne Dyer. Yeah. He said that Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge because knowledge is limited and imagination is not. And Einstein also said, if you want your kids to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be even more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Isn't that awesome? Mm. And here we are talking about that today. Mm. So how can we start to begin playing? We can start using our imagination again.
And notice that when you drop into that, fear crops up. It might say, why are you doing this? You're an adult. You don't go there anymore. Or, you're not able to write a book someday. You're not able to be a speaker. You're not able to go and advocate for yourself at work and maybe get a different position or move up the ladder. You're not able to ask that person out on a date because, it's just all these things. But I imagine I begin with the end in mind and I think about it. Now, how do we start doing this? Brenda, I started, and I love that with Wayne Dyer. Wayne Dyer, I would say most of what he's not just pulling things out of the air.
No.
He was very connected to source. And he was brilliant, but he was also coming from a place very similar to what we do on this podcast. And I should say that we're not scripted. We're just two people living on in the realm of the spirit, growing, imagining, sharing vision, and trying to be of service to bring our knowledge, but what's possible in the lives of all people that listen to this, moving in a direction outside of where the known is, that cycle we kind of drop into in life. And we get into our 50s and we say, is that all there is? I mean, geez, it just seems like it could be better than this, but I don't have the window shades up anymore.
Right. I love that. You said something when you're talking about that critical voice, right? That's saying you can't write a book. You can't be a best-selling author. You can't. That's all our conditioned thinking. And it's that critical voice. I think it's really important to understand. Don't criticize your critical voice because that critical voice is really trying to help you and to keep you safe. That's what it's trying to do. That's its job. But that's up here. That's all coming from up here. And when you're imagining, you're in your heart. There's 41,000 neurons in your heart. 41,000 neurons. The same neurons that are in your brain, 41,000 in your heart. And when you're imagining, you're down here connected to source. You're not in that conditioned thinking. And that's why it feels so good. And it just, I can start imagining. I do it a couple times a day. I put in my phone, I have 369 Tesla. Nikola Tesla came up with this. It's a manifestation thing. So you pick 3 intentions and you do this 6 times a day for 9 seconds. So I have that in my calendar. When it pops up from my calendar, I go into my heart. I take some deep breaths and I imagine those 3 intentions. I imagine me being successful at those 3 intentions. I do that for 6 times a day for 9 seconds each. And taking that time out, and because it's really, if you add up the seconds, it's not that long, but taking that time out during the day to do that has changed my world. Things, bringing things into your awareness. Did you ever buy a car and you love it, it's your new car, and then all of a sudden you're seeing that car everywhere on the highway, right? It's because that's in your awareness now. It wasn't in your awareness before you bought it. You're seeing it. It's always been there, but now you're seeing it. And the imagination works the same way. When you start picturing these things and these things are in your awareness, it starts happening in your reality. And that's what synchronicity is all about. And it's fascinating to watch that happen. It's like mind blowing, but it really works. 369, go look it up. Tesla.
And not the newest, fastest one from 0 to 100 Tesla.
No, this
But you
is
could put that in your vision.
the physicist. This is
Yeah. that Elon really dug. He liked that guy.
Yeah, he did.
So in the beginning of many talks I have done, I don't come out and say, "Hi, everybody, can you hear me?" Because that's all done. But I say, did you know the number one thing that limits a blind person is their vision? And there's a lot of blind people, low vision. I'm legally blind. If you don't know, I know you know, Brenda, but maybe some listeners or people watching this don't know. So you would think, well, your vision sucks. Well, my eyesight does, but we don't see with our eyes. We see with our brain. So I kick off a talk. Now, there's teachers and parents, and there's all sorts of people in this audience, but there are definitely people living with vision loss. So I say, did you know the number one thing that limits a blind person is their vision? And then the people laugh, and I go, and there are no refunds, joking like, duh, because they believe that story. Then I say, did you know the number one thing that limits a sighted person is their vision? And where there is no vision, people perish. They move from a world of what's possible. The law of attraction's happening. The things they're getting inner promptings. They're imagining. They're falling into dreaming. And then they get tunnel vision. They build this tight world around them, and they go, I can't do, that what we were talking about. Yeah. So then I ask, what is the number one cause of blindness? And people will shoot out a bunch of different eye diseases. And I'll say those are all good answers, but they're all wrong. Because the number one cause of blindness is your thinking. And how can we imagine again is to release the brakes of I know and go back to being a kid.
Love that. I love that. I love the idea of not knowing. What a beautiful idea. I don't know. It leaves you open to everything. I think that's what Einstein meant when he said that imagination is more important than knowledge, because knowledge is limiting. And we are what? We are limitless. We really are limitless. If you can think it, you can do it. For sure.
The mind of man and woman can conceive and believe it will achieve.
Oh, I love that, Charlie. You should put that in the chat.
That's not mine. It's like Ralph Waldo Emerson.
I thought everything you said was yours.
Oh, heck. No.
So also, I did write down a quote for today. William Blake also said, what is now proved was once only imagined. Right? I mean, first, let me say hi. Trish says, greetings from New York City. Trish is in New York City today. Hey, Trish.
Ooh.
Enjoy the city. Good morning to everybody who's on our podcast today. We're so glad that you're here. And I forgot what I was going to say, so I'm going to turn it to you. I was going to say something about the iPhones.
Please don't. I can't find mine, and
I know. I'm so sorry.
I don't want to go down that path in this moment because I might imagine that I've lost it, which I have. But let me go back to I'm in a business. I own a business. I'm doing okay. I'm doing quite well. But I'm like, you said it. I get an inner prompting. I don't know. I want to do more. I still have a little bit of a slow self-esteem. I mean, I'm not effortlessly going into places to talk about my business or my journey. I'm scared. I'm worried about what 80 and 90-year-olds, because I sold a lot of low vision aids to people with different eye conditions. I had a store for many years, and I even went into these places, and I was embarrassed and scared to tell them the truth about me. And people would come up to me and say, you should write a book. You're such a good speaker. And I'd be like, no, I'm not. No, I will never. I mean, are you kidding? I never would think like that.
Mm.
And I don't know. I just kept getting this inner prompting. And I started reading about self-esteem and I went, oh, it's what I think of myself. I don't think that well of myself most of the time. Why is that? And then, so I started learning some things, Brenda, and I'll tell you quick. I started reading books, listening, I have an addictive personality. And,
Way.
and, and I wanted to learn. I became hungry to not because of my vision, because something ignited in me. And the one time before that was when I finally surrendered to my eye disease and I started using adaptive technology. Something lit up in my brain and I could read and write and I started growing. But that was but with no imagination, no vision, just doing what was in front of me type of thing. Now all of a sudden this vision was kicking in. This law of attraction stuff I don't know anything about. And I'll tell you a story that I went to a Jack Canfield conference. I mean, I'm in it. I'm like, what is going on? There's over 400 people. The title is Breakthrough to Success. And I'm like, okay, I am scared. I'm there. 400 smart people and me. I still have that mind. And they're starting to talk about vision and responsibility. And I'm like, I have no idea. Okay. But I'm here and I'm not running home. I'm in Arizona. I live in Connecticut. Well, he says at the end of the week, we're going to have 2 speakers come up on the stage and share their story. And I'm like, wow, somebody would actually do that. That blows my mind. And when I went home, I'm not home, I had a very nice room, but in August in Scottsdale, Arizona, when it's 118 to 200 degrees, you can get cheap hotel rooms. And so I'm pacing for some weird reason. I start going, hi, my name is Charlie Collins. And I've been legally blind for the past 30 something, now it's many more because this is in 08. And I said, and my journey and my story, I don't know. I just started talking and I was walking back and forth, Brenda, in my hotel room. From one end, from my slider with a beautiful view, had a long hallway. And I would do it. And then I'd go back to the conference the next day. We would learn more about vision, clarity, about purpose, about value. And I'm like, and I'm not seeing it real clearly in me, but gosh, all of a sudden I'd go home for lunch. I'd go home for dinner. I'd be pacing back and forth. Now, there was a big jug on the table that you had to throw on an index card why you think you should be picked as the speaker on stage. And it was filling up. And I was thinking, how could people ever get up on stage and do that? I mean, Jack Canfield, of course, he's fitting soup for the soul guy. But I'm not in this league. But something, I just kept doing it every day, 3 times a day. I kept walking and talking to the crowd that I played full out. Let's play it. The last day, 10 minutes before they were taking the jug off the table, I ripped out a piece of paper and with a dark pen, I wrote, this is why I think you should pick me. And then I put it on the bottom and hit it. And I said, then I went to lunch and I started sweating profusely. I went, why did I do that? I ran back to get it out of the jug. The jug was gone. I said, oh my God, I got to go. Because I might get picked. And I'm like, no way would I get picked. Well, Saturday morning when he picking the people, this is the 7th day. So I'm feeling better. I haven't broke through, but I get it a little more. And he picks this one guy, orthopedic surgeon. He gets up there. He's talking about alcoholism and what he did in his practice and who he hurt. And he had a big knife right in the center of his chest. And he almost plunged it. And I'm like, whoa, that was amazing. He got up there and did it. And I thought, oh my God, there's one more person. Oh, please don't, please don't, please don't. And then he said my name. And I looked to the left. There were people in a circle. We were in groups. They said, hey, isn't that you? I'm like, it better freaking not be. And yes, Charlie Collins from Connecticut. And I'm like, no. My body was shaking. The guy was miking me. It's like me going up high on a ladder. I start shaking. And I was shaking as he's like, don't worry, you'll be fine. I'm like, I would rather die than follow through. This is gonna kill me, I thought. And I got up there, and because I practiced 6 days in a row, something shifted. And I spoke in front of 400 and something people, scared, and it blew up. I got standing ovations, and then I got some feedback from Jack. Then he told me to do a little more. And then at the end, now they all know I'm visually impaired. There's two stairways. There's one in the front to get on and off the stage at each side, but there is nothing in the front because there were so many people there. They were up close to the stage. So at the end, when I ended, I walked like I was going to walk down the stairs on the front of the stage, and I walked to the edge and I stopped and threw my body forward, and the whole place erupted, and I went, gotcha, because I'm grateful. And I can still meet people somewhere, anywhere in the country or on a Zoom, and they'll say, I remember you. You're the guy that freaked us out coming off the stage. So because of that moment, Brenda, I started understanding the power of believing in myself, believing it's possible, and taking a little bit of action every day.
And Charlie, there's one other piece of that story that's really important. What did you end up doing for Jack Canfield?
What did I do for him?
Yeah. Didn't you write a chapter in one of his books?
Because
kind of a big deal, Charlie. Kind of a big deal.
Well, not only did I'm in 2 of his books as a featured author, and he wrote the foreword to my book, Tripping into the Light.
Yeah.
And I got to get on stage with him many times over the years to come. I've done his trainings. I've done everything. That opened the door to a world of unbelievableness.
Unbelievableness. It did.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful example of what happens when you face your fears, when you plow through that conditioned thinking, when you take risks, when you imagine, because that's what you were really doing all week, is imagining being on stage, imagining doing a great job. And it's exactly what happened. And the outcome, not that we're invested in the outcome, because the outcome is up to the universe. But in this case, the outcome was even more than you could have imagined.
Yeah.
Before that day, would you have imagined Jack Canfield wanting you to write a chapter in his book? Could you have imagined him writing a book, let alone him writing the foreword to your book?
No, not at all. No, because I had that channel locked down.
Yeah. I can't. The critical brain, conditioned thinking. None of that is real. One of the most important things I've learned over the years, and a lot of it came from doing the 12 steps, is I cannot trust my own thinking. I have to challenge it. Now, sometimes it's right, but a lot of times it's not. Good for you, Charlie. I love that story. I want to say good morning to Carrie. I'm so glad you're here. She usually types in something really inspirational. I don't see anything there yet, though. When she does, I will announce it.
Well, now you put her up to it.
I know. Come on, Carrie, feed us. She's always got good stuff to say. So does Trish, by the way. So where do we go from here, Charlie? How do people take the next step in using their imagination, in playing, in dreaming, in just being interested in doing that? What's the first step, do you think?
I think that we're here on this. If we wake up each morning, Cassidy told me the other day that she was listening to a podcast, and there was a question. Why am I here? I woke up. Why am I here today? So that might open the channel of some possibility. And then the next question this person asked themselves, and in service to what? And that is also something that can help, because I was in service to me. And for many, 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 many years. And me did good things at times for others, but me really looked out for me. And me wanted to make money and look good, sound good, and feel good. And me, but I don't know, I'm not mad at that. I'm glad that I woke up to the truth that in service to who and what came. So what I did, Brenda, was, am I bringing yesterday into today? Am I getting up doing the known? I mean, I get up at the same time. I do the same thing. I go to the shower. I think about what I'm going to wear. I go to work. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm not stepping back at all. I'm just cycling through the same routines. And then then I started stopping. You call it pause. We call it, you could say, hold on a minute. Let me take a few breaths today. Is there anything I'm missing? What could I do? I started meditating. I started asking questions, and this was way back, because if I could get up on a stage, if I could do something like that, maybe I could become an international speaker. I don't know how, but then I started seeing myself walking up on stages, pivoting, saying hello, going right into my talk, getting applause, crushing it, and then exiting. I could visualize that. I could feel it. I could hear it. I was hungry for it. And I went out and started doing that.
I love that. Good for you, Charlie. You're very inspiring. Arizona, I think 200 degrees in Arizona. It might have been an exaggeration. Is Carrie's inspirational thought for today? I'm sure it was 200, Carrie. 200 for sure.
There's 200 in my mind.
You know what? This is something that helped me. I don't know how people will feel about it, but that really doesn't matter. This is what helped me. So I got in touch with my inner child. Right? How do I plow through that condition, all of that conditioned thinking? I went back to the beginning, when I was free, when I was open, when I wasn't afraid what other people thought of me. And I went out and I bought myself one of my favorite stuffed animals that I had as a kid. That was the first thing I did. I connected with that part of me that's still alive and well in there, that loves to play and have fun. And I did that by buying her a stuffed animal. And then I tried to remember some of the things I like to do. Just remember, like, the fun things I used to like to do. Like, we would play hide and seek in the woods. We would go ice skating and we would swing around the trees, we would make snow angels. I would do piles of leaves and jump in them. And I did a couple of those things over the next few months that I used to do when I was a little kid, which kind of lit a fire inside of me. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to enjoy. It's okay to laugh. And then I brought that into the present day. Like, what do I really like to do? I started to get to know myself without all the conditioned thinking. Like, before I paused and really thought about it, Charlie, I didn't even know what my favorite color really was. That's how far from my authentic self I had gotten. I didn't know. I'm like, so what's my favorite color? I just started to get to know myself without all the outside junk. And it ended up being a beautiful journey. And what I found, I'm still on that journey, but as I take this journey, what I found is I like myself, and then I loved myself. And then the dreaming and the fantasizing and imagining all of my intentions and desires even coming to fruition became a lot easier, because I got in touch with that little girl. I played with her. I reminded her of who she really is, which is an expression of the creator of all that is, which makes me limitless. And then it just started like a beautiful flower. It just started to blossom. And, I still have my bad days, and maybe we'll have a podcast on that, what to do when you have your bad days. But if I didn't have bad days, I wouldn't appreciate the good ones. And now the good ones include, dreaming, manifesting, imagining. I do that like I do the 3-6-9 thing. Anyway, I'm going to start to ramble. I love this topic.
Well, maybe not bad days, but a day feeling disconnected is like a malady of some sort, a disconnection from imagination, from the quantum field, from the law of attraction, from I'm on the beam. I know, it's bad, but then, I got to be careful, because my mind triggers, but I know exactly. It's like, what do we do on those days? I don't see that clear on those days. And then eventually I could shut the vision off. And then I I'm starting to be hard on myself. Then maybe if even a hope or a dream or something I'm working towards, I'm never going to get there. Screw it. I throw in the towel, throw out everything, and it's like just from a day or two of me feeling disconnected. And what can I do? How can I get back on the beam of being able to, without worrying about, oh, geez, I got to go in 2 minutes. Like I can drop into that, Brenda, what we're talking about. I can just think, who can I send out love to today?
Oh, that's great.
How can I go out and think about others? What can I do to make this a better sidewalk or experience? I mean, it's the weird, that was not who I was because like you, what is your favorite color? Somebody would ask me. I would say, somebody asked me, what's the color of your eyes? I don't know. I can't see them, nor do I care. They suck. I'm not my eyes. I happen to have them, but I am not. That's not who I am, nor does the disease in the back of them produce the value of who I am, but I certainly gave it power over the years to do that. And that's what this stuff does. I see beyond self. And because of being able to imagine, you and I got connected, you and Stanley. I mean, the people who are on that plane of inspiration and moving in that way just kind of all start to connect. And we all can chat for hours.
We do. And that's an important thing to talk about for a second too, Charlie, is as you start to imagine, as you manifest, as you see yourself in a different light, you will be attracting people on the same frequency. It's when I'm vibrating down here in the Ain't It Awful Club, that's what I'm going to attract into my life. When I'm vibrating up here, like, oh, I'm so excited for my life and this is happening for me and this is what I'm imagining and it's coming true. You attract that energy into your life, that frequency, you attract that frequency into your life. And it just builds, it builds and builds. I cannot tell you, if you saw where I was even just 2 years ago compared to today, oh my gosh, completely different person. Thriving in ways that I've never, you were there, right? Thriving, right?
If you want me to share any of it, let me know.
Yeah, I'm going to save that for my book, Charlie. Don't give anything away. But really, and the biggest change in my life was imagining, manifesting, dreaming, knowing that there was something different, something better, something more meaningful for me out there. And just being willing to say, I'm going to try this. And it started with meditation. It started with meditation and connecting to that spark of the divine that's within me. And it all just freaking took off from there. And today, I literally have a life beyond my wildest dreams. And it's not because of anything on the outside. It's not because of anything on the outside. Money, relationship, school, work. It's not because of any of that. It's because of what's going on in here. It's priceless. You can't buy it.
No.
It's already within you, though, Charlie. It's already within you.
Yeah, we were all born with it.
Yes.
And we blocked it. We put the garbage on top of it.
Yes.
And then when that filled up, we started carrying other people's crap.
Oh my gosh.
And then life just got so heavy and we couldn't blame or complain or justify or rationalize. We couldn't make excuses anymore. And we couldn't put any more resentments in. And you and I turned to things to ease that pain, whether it was through alcohol and drugs, but some people do it through eating. They do it through gambling. Nobody can sustain that living. God didn't make us, our creators didn't make us to be surviving and unhappy and disconnected and all alone and miserable. That isn't the deal. The deal is what you just said. It's like you talked about buying a new car. Well, when you become on this plane of inspiration, which is already a part of who you are, it just takes some work to tap back into that channel. Then you will see exactly that around you. Exactly. Without having to go, oh, life sucks. How's it going to treat me today? It's going to just present in a different way.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And like you said, it's not my knowing. It's not the knowledge I had of it. It already was a part of who I was. I do the work and now I'm experiencing a different level of consciousness.
Yes. Yes.
Yahoo. I'll drink to that.
Me too. Amen. So Carrie is saying that her eyesight, because she's also legally blind, has given her so many gifts over the years. And I love to hear that. And I want to say something about that. I had a really horrific childhood. Every kind of abuse you could think of was happening when I was a kid. And all of that has ended up being gifts for me. All of it. I wouldn't change a single thing in my past. None of the pain would I change. Every single thing that I've experienced has been used to help somebody else. And you mentioned that, Charlie. When I'm having a bad day, and that's the human condition, we're going to have challenging days. I like the way you reframed that for me, because it's the black and white thinking. I still get stuck in that sometimes. Bad, good, up, down, right, wrong. So when I have a challenging day, I can change that. I can change having a challenging day. We have the tools today to do that. Completely forgot what I was going to say about that. It was really profound too. Maybe next podcast I'll remember. It was like one of those great ones. And it was like, whoop, there it goes.
Well, that's okay. Think of a battery of a car. They have two symbols on them. They have a red and a black stud. And one says plus, which means positive, and one says negative. And without both, you cannot start a car. If you I'm positive all day, that car will not start or run. But when you connect it to both sources, for some reason that car starts. So it's a fact of life. Negativity, discomfort, disconnection will set in. But it's just source or whatever saying it's time for you to get back on track. I need to bring you down a little so you see more clearly and you get back to the right trajectory.
Yeah.
That's a hard word for me.
And time and time again, my solution for a rough day has been to be of service to someone else. And 100% of the time that works. You get out of self, you do something for someone else, and you're not thinking about what's going on in your life. And I don't know, it just lights me up and it changes everything for me.
And it allows you to get back home and get back into the vision of clarity, the vision of success. I used to do maximize your vision for success, maximize and MAXIMEYES, So I was always playing on this type of topic. A lot of my maximize your environments for success. So do you see yourself succeeding in your environment? Start small. I can visualize myself taking a walk down the sidewalk and smile. And then visualize that and then start doing it. Just start small.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you gotta visualize yourself being the next president. But all right, well, this has been fantastic, Brenda.
Thank you, Charlie. I had a great time as always. Love doing this podcast. Thank you to everybody who sent chats today and everybody who's listening and watching. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, now we got to go to the next slide, so don't jump ship yet.
Okay.
All right, so
Check
out Time for 10, please, if you know of or anyone that is, we got to do a little ask at the end. Come on.
Okay.
But anyway, you can check out Thriving Blind Academy and learn more about our programs in there. And, go ahead, like, share, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff, because we're going to keep coming and doing this. And we appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll see you next Saturday, if not sooner.
See you then.